the one that had the knowledge from their ancestors. They had the information on how to build megalithic structures.
Have you ever heard of giants born from the union of gods and humans? That's the story of the Nephilim, and it's been captivating readers for centuries. Genesis throws this bombshell into the mix, describing these powerful beings alongside the well-known tale of Noah's Ark. This is a tale that just keeps getting crazier.
They knew the celestial cycles. They knew multiple languages, and they also had the technology, according to the ancient texts, to travel around the planet.
The word Nephilim itself hints at something unusual. It comes from a Hebrew term meaning to fall, suggesting a built-in downfall for these creatures. Were they always destined for trouble? The Bible offers three main ideas. Fallen angel theory. This one's pretty dramatic. Imagine rogue angels abandoning their heavenly duties, drawn to human women. Their bizarre coupling supposedly resulted in the Nephilim, a race of giants known for their strength and possibly their bad attitudes. This theory finds support in other parts of the Bible, where angels seem to get a little too interested in earthly matters. Lineage of Seth's theory. This takes a more human approach. Here, the sons of God are simply men from a good family line, the descendants of Seth. But they start getting involved with women from a less favored family, that of Cain. This mixing of bloodlines, so to speak, is seen as a moral disaster, leading humanity down a dark path. Kings or divine rulers. Theory. This theory puts a crown on the sons of God. Literally, it suggests they were arrogant rulers who saw themselves as godlike figures. Marrying lots of wives became a way to show off their power and claim a special connection to the divine. This kind of behavior wasn't uncommon in the ancient world, where kings often blurred the lines between themselves and the gods. No matter which theory you find most interesting, they all share a common theme: forbidden unions and the trouble they bring. These stories serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the consequences when we stray from the right path. Who were the Nephilim exactly? We may never know for sure, but their story continues to spark our imaginations. The story of the Nephilim sets the stage for the dramatic flood narrative in Genesis. Remember Noah's Ark? This flood, according to the Bible, was a divine punishment for humanity's growing corruption. The Nephilim story acts as a powerful introduction, highlighting the ongoing battle between good and evil and the potential consequences of human failings that could trigger divine judgment. There's another interesting detail. The sons of God reappear in the book of Job, this time participating in a heavenly meeting with none other than Satan. Here they're discussing a very ordinary matter, Job's loyalty. This ordinary scene stands in stark contrast to the dramatic implications of their earlier encounters with human women. It's almost like they've moved on, leaving us wondering about the weight of their past actions. The concept of celestial beings takes another turn. Remember how angels celebrated together at creation? This sense of unity resurfaces in Job, where God himself speaks from a whirlwind, asking Job profound questions about creation, a concept far beyond human understanding. This emphasizes the vast difference between our perspective and the divine. Fast forward to the New Testament. Here the focus shifts to how Jesus' arrival and teachings transform believers into sons of God. This transformation isn't something humans achieve on their own, but a gift from God bestowed upon those who follow Christ. This spiritual rebirth, as described in Romans 8, brings believers closer to angels, making them new creations through Christ's influence. The text returns to celestial beings, but this time with a twist. They're described metaphorically as stars, a term sometimes used for angels. Each star, each angel possesses its own unique glory, according to the Psalms and Corinthians. This highlights their dual nature. Some remain righteous, while others stray from the path. Things get more complex as the discussion dives into darker themes. Jude and Revelation depict angels who have strayed from their duties, leading to their imprisonment in dark realms. This introduces apocalyptic imagery, a fallen star with the key to a bottomless pit, unleashing locust-like chaos upon earth. This dramatic scene serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of defying divine orders. But that's a story for another time. Let's see how these ancient prophecies might connect with modern science in the pursuit of eternal life. The bloodline war, science fiction, or biblical prophecy. The text takes a surprising turn, bridging the gap between biblical prophecies and the futuristic notion of Google potentially discovering an immortal gene. This connection sparks a fascinating question. Could the age-old pursuit of eternal life, traditionally viewed as a spiritual quest, be achieved through science? The blending of these themes creates a complex scenario where biblical warnings and cutting-edge technology intertwine, painting a picture of a future filled with both possibilities and perils. Think about a future where science offers immortality, but at a steep price. To live forever, you'd have to undergo a complete DNA overhaul with a mysterious substance called antimatter. This radical change would transform you into something entirely different, severing your connection to humanity. There'd be no turning back. Your chance for spiritual salvation would vanish, as you'd no longer be the person you once were. This concept eerily mirrors the seed war mentioned in Genesis and Revelation. Some Christian scholars believe this war represents the ultimate clash between good and evil, a battle fought on the very foundation of our genetic makeup. Genesis itself, meaning origins or beginnings, underscores the significance of our genetic heritage. The story in Genesis recounts God's response to Adam and Eve's transgression. The curse placed upon the serpent included a fascinating detail: an enduring enmity between the serpent and the woman and their respective descendants. This curse goes beyond mere punishment. It's a prophetic glimpse into a continuous struggle between those aligned with God's will and those influenced by darker forces. Christ, considered the seed of the woman, represents the ultimate victor over the serpent, symbolized by the crushing of the serpent's head. Conversely, the serpent's lineage is destined to constantly challenge humanity, sowing discord and opposition. The New Testament echoes this idea of a continuous battle. In John 8, Jesus confronts his detractors, declaring their allegiance to the devil, a figure synonymous with deception and evil since the beginning. The text leaves us pondering: are these biblical passages mere metaphors, or could they hold deeper meanings that resonate with future scientific advancements? The answer, as with many mysteries in the Bible, remains open to interpretation. One thing's for sure: the clash between science's pursuit of longevity and the traditional concept of the afterlife creates a captivating narrative with profound implications for humanity's future. The Israelites in the shadow of giants. Imagine a promised land, overflowing with bounty giant grapes needing 2 men to carry. But guarding this paradise are people unlike any you've faced before. Huge, powerful, some with disturbing links to a forgotten past. This isn't just a fight for territory, it's a battle for the very soul of your nation. The Bible hints at a time when giants walked the earth, not just powerful warriors, but descendants of something more. These beings, tainted by a supernatural touch, threatened to corrupt God's chosen people, the Israelites. Take the story of Noah's flood. It wasn't just about wiping out the wicked, but cleansing the bloodlines. Noah, despite his flaws, was seen as genetically pure, untouched by these fallen entities. Fast forward and the Israelites receive a stark command from God: utterly destroy specific tribes inhabiting the Promised Land. This was a desperate measure to safeguard their spiritual integrity. These tribes were seen as vessels of corruption, a malign influence that could warp God's chosen people. And then, the battles of David and Goliath take on a new dimension. Goliath represented a corrupt heritage that threatened the Israelites' spiritual core. Archaeology adds a fascinating layer. In regions linked to these giants, researchers have unearthed strange, elongated skulls and snake-like statues. Could these be echoes of a bygone era when these beings and their unsettling traits roamed the earth? The story continues with Moses leading his people to the cusp of Canaan. Scouts are sent to assess the land. They return with tales of giant grapes and formidable cities. But more importantly, they report on the descendants of Anak giants linked to the ancient city of Babylon. These giants are presented as part of a bloodline intertwined with celestial beings, suggesting a persistent influence on humanity. However, the Israelites falter. Fearful of these giants, they lose faith in their ability to claim the land. This lack of trust in God's plan resulted in a harsh punishment: a 40-year odyssey through the unforgiving desert. These weren't aimless wanderings. The desert became a crucible, testing the Israelites' resolve and dependence on God. Here they faced more giants, like the imposing Og of Bashan. These encounters were full-blown military clashes. Each victory underscored the Israelites' reliance on divine support to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. The biblical account transcends a simple historical record. It's a captivating saga woven with human struggles, divine interventions, and profound lessons about faith. Back then, unwavering faith wasn't just a virtue, it was a matter of survival. Giants at the time were a tangible threat, a monstrous presence the Israelites had to confront. The narrative masterfully blends elements of human struggle with the influence of a higher power. It paints a picture where divine justice and protection played a central role in the Israelites' journey. We learn how they conquered lands previously ruled by Amorite kings, territories stretching from the Arnon River to the majestic Mount Hermon. This included major cities and vast swaths of fertile plains. But the real showstopper in this conquest was King Og of Bashan, notorious as the last of the giants. Imagine a bed so enormous, it measured a staggering 12 feet long. Based on these measurements, scholars estimate King Og himself stood at a colossal 12 feet tall, more than double the average man's height. Earlier encounters had hinted at similar giants. These were large men, potentially different on a genetic level. The Bible suggests these giants, known as the Nephilim, were the offspring of unnatural unions between humans and supernatural beings. The giants were also morally corrupt. Stories depict them as cannibalistic and a twisted perversion of natural life, making them anathema to God. The divine response was unequivocal, complete annihilation. Cities like Jericho, known havens for these giants, were to be utterly destroyed, their presence erased from the face of the earth. The biblical text is clear-cut in its instructions. It commands the complete elimination of everyone and everything in these areas, men, women, children, and even animals, if they were deemed tainted. But the narrative goes beyond a historical account. It suggests these events could repeat, drawing a parallel between past transgressions and potential future ones. This perspective casts a wary eye on scientific progress, particularly genetic research, which could be seen as echoing historical acts viewed as defying divine law. It serves as a stark warning, using the dramatic retelling of past events to discourage similar actions in the future. Echoes of corruption, the Nephilim's legacy. The biblical account delves into the concept of purity, divine authority, and humanity's role in upholding order. It emphasizes the dire consequences of straying from the divinely ordained path and underscores the importance of adhering to what's believed to be God's plan. Genesis 6 and the Book of Enoch offer a captivating narrative of angels succumbing to earthly desires. These celestial beings, defying their sacred duty, lusted after human women. Instead of serving as benevolent messengers, they planned unions and offspring with humans. Shemjaza, their leader, harbored concerns about the repercussions, but his followers promised to share any punishment. This pact sealed their fate, and they settled on Mount Hermon, a place forever etched in religious lore. Mount Hermon later became a stage for a pivotal event, Jesus revealing his divine nature to his disciples. This wasn't just a display of God's power, but also a symbolic judgment against the fallen angels. The very spot where oaths were sworn became a stark reminder of both heavenly promises and celestial betrayals. The transgression of the fallen angels didn't end with forbidden unions. They imparted forbidden knowledge, the dark arts and herbal sorcery which plunged the world into chaos. Their offspring, the Nephilim, were monstrous giants with insatiable appetites. They devoured everything in their path, leading to violence and devastation. These monstrous beings went a step further, disrupting the natural order. Their unnatural unions corrupted various species, both land and sea. This tampering had lasting effects, with some believing mythical sea creatures stem from these twisted unions. Consequently, some religious texts envision a new world after the apocalypse where the sea, corrupted by past sins, ceases to exist. The Book of Revelation paints the end times with vivid imagery. The first angel unleashes a plague upon the land, while the second transforms the sea into blood, eradicating all marine life. This is viewed as a cleansing, a purging of the earth from the corruption and suffering caused by the Nephilim and their forefathers. These tales, rife with symbolism and dramatic scenes, illustrate the consequences of divine beings interfering with the human realm and nature. It's a cautionary series of events, starting with the violation of celestial laws and culminating in devastating consequences for all of creation, leaving both the earth and the sea bearing the scars of these transgressions. The texts serve as a stark warning against overstepping boundaries and causing irreparable damage. However, this raises a curious question. Why don't creatures of the sea seem to suffer the same fate as those on land? An alternative explanation for the sea creatures' exemption from punishment lies not in divine favor, but in a twisted curse embedded in their very DNA. This theory finds support in chapter 19 of the Book of Enoch. Here, the angel Uriel identifies a specific place reserved for the fallen angels who mingled with human women. These transgressors, forever bound to this realm, shapeshift into various forms, deceiving humans into worshiping them as gods. Their fate is sealed, judgment, and ultimate destruction. The Book of Enoch repeatedly emphasizes corrupted blood and the unholy mixing of DNA that birthed the Nephilim. These giants were grotesque hybrids, stitched together from the genetic codes of different species. Even after the Great Flood claimed their physical forms, their spirits remained, lingering on earth until their final judgment. These spirits, ever shifting and deceitful, trick humans into worshiping them despite their non-human nature. This perspective also sheds light on the bizarre sounds associated with demons during exorcisms. Rather than mere theatrics, these vocalizations become a chilling manifestation of their unnatural mixed heritage. The interplay between ancient tales and contemporary beliefs shapes our understanding of good and evil. This explanation of fallen angels resorting to genetic manipulation offers a stark look at how spiritual beings might influence the world. It paints a picture of a complex relationship between celestial entities and human faith, where respect and deception are often intertwined. This forces us to reevaluate the influences shaping our religious and spiritual experiences, highlighting a vast web of interaction between the seen and unseen realms. The term familiar spirit originates from the Latin word familiaris, signifying a spirit deeply connected to one's lineage, not just immediate family. It suggests an otherworldly presence with an unsettling awareness of your family history and personal details. By delving into the unsettling world of the Nephilim, we venture far beyond the realm of typical ancestral spirits or benevolent ghosts. The Nephilim are ancient, enigmatic entities trapped in a desolate space between worlds, forever marked by the sin of their creators and forever waiting for their final reckoning. By now, we know that the Nephilim aren't benevolent spirits fostering family bonds. They're depicted as sinister entities with a deeply rooted agenda fueled by deception and malice. These ancient manipulators, masters of illusion and confusion, seek to mislead humanity, steering them away from paths of truth and enlightenment. The lore of the Nephilim extends far beyond casual mentions of giants roaming the earth. This narrative is woven into the fabric of various ancient texts and scriptures, transcending mere tales of massive beings. For instance, the biblical account from the Apocrypha offers a glimpse into their supposed history and characteristics. Caleb, one of the two faithful spies who trusted God's promises, undertook a daunting mission to confront and overthrow the descendants of these giants. This act symbolizes a broader theme in ancient folklore: the triumph over seemingly insurmountable foes through unwavering faith and divine support. The story of David, the young shepherd who ascended to the throne, exemplifies human bravery in the face of extraordinary challenges. His decision to face Goliath, the giant, with just 5 stones, is a tale that resonates within religious and mythological circles. This legendary battle represents the ongoing struggle between human vulnerability and overwhelming threats. It highlights an ancient belief that the world was teeming with supernatural dangers, only conquerable with divine assistance. This story also connects to the narrative of the wandering stars, or fallen angels, who defied God's commands. These celestial beings abandoned their heavenly abodes to engage in forbidden unions with human women on earth. weaving intricate threads of myth and theology. This interaction resulted in the birth of the Nephilim, beings with both divine and mortal origins. Ancient texts suggest their existence led to significant turmoil and unusual occurrences. These occurrences aren't solely limited to the physical realm. The Nephilim are often portrayed as manipulating human thought and behavior. Some believe they influence dreams, planting seeds of doubt and fear to lead people astray. Others propose they exploit human desires, tempting individuals towards greed, violence, and corruption. This manipulation extends beyond individuals. The Nephilim are sometimes seen as orchestrating historical events, fostering discord and conflict amongst humanity. These accounts offer a rich tapestry woven from myth and religious belief, providing insights into themes of rebellion, purity, and the profound impact of celestial entities on human lives. The legends of the Nephilim, remarkably diverse across cultures and time periods, further enrich this tapestry. In some narratives, they appear as harbingers of ruin, their presence a premonition of impending disaster. Other accounts paint them as tragic figures, eternally trapped in a liminal space, belonging neither to the heavens nor the earth. This complexity, touching on universal concepts of alienation, ongoing conflict, and the pursuit of redemption, makes the Nephilim endlessly fascinating. These tales continue to captivate us, demonstrating how ancient stories resonate with contemporary concerns about cultural and spiritual identity. Through these myriad stories and interpretations, the Nephilim continue to bridge the known and the unknown, the natural and the supernatural. They serve as a reminder of the ethereal veil supposedly separating our world from realms beyond, and the innate human desire to personify that which we cannot fully comprehend. Each story, each retelling, adds a layer to our understanding of these enigmatic figures. We are left with a complex picture of our collective fascination with the boundaries of reality and the beings that may exist just beyond our grasp. Today, the term Nephilim extends beyond mere giants, encompassing a variety of corrupt entities said to have brought chaos to Earth. While other living beings supposedly perished in the Great Flood, the Nephilim, according to some accounts, somehow survived in the water, continuing to wreak havoc. This tale pushes the boundaries of what's considered realistic within religious teachings, blurring the lines between ancient myths and religious beliefs. Further complicating the narrative is the discussion surrounding a twisted form of spiritual birth. Some interpretations compare the unholy unions of the fallen angels to the holy conception of Jesus by the Holy Spirit, a rather tenuous comparison. These interpretations also propose that born of water and the Spirit refers not to baptism, but to natural birth from a mother's womb. This adds another layer of complex theological interpretation, requiring not only faith but a significant leap of logic. Ultimately, these narratives often culminate in a clear call to action, spiritual salvation, through faith in Jesus Christ, referred to as the promised seed. This evangelical approach uses storytelling to educate and pique viewer interest in biblical narratives. Additionally, the digital age offers new platforms for the dissemination of these ancient stories. But the Nephilim's reach extends beyond the Judeo-Christian tradition. In Sumerian mythology, we encounter the Apkallu, 7 wise beings who descended from the heavens to guide humanity. Though not necessarily viewed as giants, their celestial origins echo the Nephilim's role as intermediaries between the divine and the human. Similarly, the Watchers in the Book of Enoch, celestial beings who disobeyed God and fathered the Nephilim, find parallels in the Iranian concept of the Devas, fallen divinities who rebelled against the supreme god Ahura Mazda. These comparisons highlight the universality of the Nephilim archetype, the powerful other who disrupts the natural order and challenges human understanding. More examples of such creatures across other faiths include Hindu asuras, powerful, often monstrous beings. The asuras are locked in an eternal struggle with the devas, representing good. The asuras' envy and greed lead them to disrupt cosmic harmony, mirroring the Nephilim's corrupting influence. Norse Jotnar. These giants of Norse mythology often clash with the Aesir gods, mirroring the Nephilim's conflict with the divine. The Jotnar represent a primal, chaotic force, a stark contrast to the ordered world of the Aesir. Native American skinwalkers. In some tribes, these shape-shifting creatures are believed to be malicious spirits possessing humans. Similar to the Nephilim's twisted nature, skinwalkers blur the line between human and monstrous, embodying deception and danger. The Nephilim continue to spark curiosity and inspire artistic exploration. From John Milton's epic poem, Paradise Lost, where they appear as monstrous offspring of Satan and sin, to H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, where monstrous entities blur the lines between human and alien, the Nephilim's influence on literature is undeniable. Their enigmatic presence also pervades modern pop culture, appearing in video games, television shows, and even conspiracy theories. The enduring fascination with the Nephilim lies in their ability to bridge the gap between reality and imagination. They represent the unknown, the what-ifs that lurk at the fringes of our understanding. Their stories serve as a reminder of the enduring human desire to understand our place in the cosmos, the potential dangers that may lurk beyond, and the enduring power of faith and determination in the face of the unknown. That's all for this twisted story. What do you know about the Nephilim? Share in the comments below. If you want more mysteries uncovered, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we've got a lot more of this. Thanks for watching.